Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Man, what a night in politics. I'm still wrapping my head around this one. Just when you think things can't get more unpredictable, we get a breaking result that has Republicans scrambling and Democrats riding a wave of momentum. Polls closed in New Jersey's 11th congressional district, and the Associated Press wasted no time calling it for Democrat Anna Lilia Mahia over Republican Joe Hathaway. This was a seat Republicans had locked down not that long ago in a district that Biden carried by just 6 points back in 2020. But tonight, Democrats flipped it, and it feels like a shot across the bow for the whole party. This kind of win doesn't come out of nowhere. It is the result of months of groundwork, and it is shining a light on some serious trouble brewing for the GOP, heading into the bigger races later in this year. Hey everyone.
Joining us, founder and CEO of Independent Veterans of America and host of the Independent America Here I Am podcast, Paul Rieckhoff, and Jake Sherman, who's still with us. The camera was tired of hearing me talk. Jake, give us your reporting.
Yeah, listen, Democrats are drubbing Republicans in fundraising. I mean, across the board. And it's not only in the House, in competitive seats in the House where Democrats are outraising their Republican opponents. Look at the Senate. I mean, John Ossoff has raised more than, I forget what the exact number is, more than $10 million. James Tallarico in Texas, 14. James Tallarico in Texas, $27 million compared to John Cornyn, $9 million. And that's if you're very forgiving with how you count his money. Roy Cooper, almost $14 million. Sherrod Brown, 12.5. Mary Peltola, almost $9. I mean, this is obscene money. And listen, both sides, there's two ways to look at this. This shows that they have more money, they're going to be able to spend more money, etc. Yes, that's true. There's going to be a lot of money in this race, but this shows, Katie, the enthusiasm behind Democratic candidates and the base. And that's something we've seen in polls, too. The enthusiasm gap is gigantic right now.
But does it show enthusiasm among the voters who are voting in those constituencies, or is this outside money?
It's a little bit of both. This isn't a race about who could get to $10 million quicker. They have to run smart races focused on the issues that matter, not on nonsense, and then they can win races. And listen, Republicans have had recruiting misses in Georgia, in a bunch of places. They've not gotten the candidates that they want, so that's a problem for them. And Democrats have a slate of pretty decent candidates, especially in Georgia with John Ossoff. So, and on the House side, it's remarkable how much money Democrats are raising. You know, the only thing that will prevent this, according to the people we talk to up here, that will prevent this from being a gigantic wave is that the country's so gerrymandered. So it's tough to get to 40 seats or 50 seats like you used to be able to get to in a wave. But, you know, right now, you'd rather be a Democrat than a Republican. But the only poll that matters is election night.
What did Mitch McConnell say? Candidate quality matters, and this could be a case of that. Jake, I know you have to go to votes. Thank you so much for being with us. I appreciate it. All right, Paul.
Now, let's hear straight from the folks breaking it all down. Democrats aren't just keeping up. They are blowing past Republicans in race after race. And it is showing up in the numbers that actually matters. We are talking double or triple the cash even in the competitive spots. And it is not random outside cash flooding in. This is coming from the real energy on the ground. The kind of voter excitement you can't fake. It lines up with what we are seeing in the polls too. That enthusiasm age for Democrats is huge right now. And then you layer on how tough things look for the other side on the issues that people cares about the most. President Trump's numbers on taxes are sitting at minus 28 overall. A massive slide down from wherever they were in the first term. Among independents, it's even worse, 58 points underwater. His signature tax package, it's 20 points down overall, and a painful 41 points with the independent. Kind of numbers we haven't seen this low in decades. When voters feel like that economy isn't working for them, that kind of feedback hits hard at the ballot box. Let's switch over now and hear directly from the winner herself on what voters were saying actually tonight. Now,
just minutes after polls closed in New Jersey's 11th congressional district tonight, progressive Democrat Anna Lilia Mahia defeated Republican Joe Hathaway to fill the seat vacated by now Governor Mikey Sherrill. It's the latest progressive victory of this election cycle, could be a bellwether for November. And joining me now from her campaign watch party is Democratic candidate Ana Lilia Mejia. Congresswoman-elect, congratulations. The AP has made the call. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling great. I'm so thrilled to have the opportunity to represent the great people of New Jersey's 11th congressional district. You know, it was kind of a rough and tumble, a special primary. It was a very quick turnaround to our special general, but I think the voters in New Jersey's 11th are feeling like many voters across the country, fed up with an economy that is letting them down and watching a Democratic backslide that is really worrisome.
Did you had a very close primary. Tom Malinowski, who I believe had represented that district or an adjacent district before, was in that primary. You eked out a victory.
An adjacent district, yes.
Adjacent district. In that primary, those are the numbers there. You know, there was a little bit that the district has been a Democratic district since Mikey Sherrill won it, but it had been represented by Republicans before. In 2020, it was a 6-point margin. It was pretty close. And I saw a little bit of speculation after you won this primary of like, oh, is she too progressive for this district? Is this like someone that the primary voters like, who the general election voters aren't going to like? I wonder how you thought about your messaging in terms of the general election after winning that primary.
Look, I've lived in this district for 13 years. I've been an organizer for 25 years. I know my neighbors. And here's the thing. When I talk to working class people who are living paycheck to paycheck in this district, they feel crushed by rising prices at the gas pump, at the grocery store. They feel like their check is nowhere near making ends meet, and they feel like they're falling behind. And then I go down into another town and I talk to my suburban neighbors who own their homes, who went to college, who checked all the boxes, and they feel the pinch. They may not be living paycheck to paycheck, but the fact that Donald Trump has thrown tariffs around like Mardi Gras beads, the fact that we are in a war that has increased the cost of gas, the fact that they are losing customers, clients, if they own their own business. What I have heard are middle-class families, working-class families, both feeling the pinch of a terrible economy, feeling like some folks are feeling like they're house rich and cash poor. They are drowning in credit card debt. And then you have a president who blusters into, pushes us into a war that is now costing us at the tune of $2 billion a day or close to, and then turns around to tell the American people that we have to.
Hearing Ana Lilia Mejia talk about those conversations she's been having door to door really brings it all home. People are hurting. Working families stretched thin on gas and groceries. Middle class households who did everything right but still feel like they are slipping underwater. With credit card debt and lost business, the war costs, the price spikes, the sense that nobody is explaining why things keep getting more expensive. It is all landing with the voters in a way that is impossible to ignore. This one special election result in New Jersey might be just one data point, but it is a real one in a real district that used to lean the other way. Put it together with the fundraising blowout, the recruiting struggles Republicans are having in places like North Carolina and Georgia, and those brutal polling numbers on taxes and the big legislative wins. And you start to see the picture. Democrats are showing up with strong candidates and serious energy months ahead of every time. Sure, gerrymandering makes giant sweeps tougher these days, but right now the wind is clearly at their back. Midterm are still a ways off, but nights like tonight, they feel like an early preview of what could be coming. What do you guys think? Is this the beginning of a bigger shift or just one-off night for the GOP? Drop your take in the comments. Smash that like button if this caught you off guard, and make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss the next update. We'll be back soon with more on how this all plays out. Thanks for hanging out with me tonight. Catch you in the next one.